Coming up on WUFT News First at 5.
We've had homeless people sleeping in the building. We've had feces in the doorway.
A disturbing experience.
Trash piled up.
The shocking conditions at a Gainesville apartment complex after months of move-in delays.
In the past 2 weeks, 3 staple restaurants in Gainesville have shut their doors.
I want to thank everybody in Gainesville that support us throughout the year.
And today, another one is joining them. Tune in to First at 5 to find out why these Gainesville restaurants are closing.
And an upbeat send-off to the state championships. What's next for the undefeated Hawthorne Hornets?
We feel great. We feel like we're locked in.
First at 5 starts right now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
A frost advisory is in effect for much of our viewing areas as temperatures are expected to plummet overnight. The UF weather team is forecasting temperatures will drop into the 30s.
Several cities, including Gainesville, have activated their cold weather shelters for tonight. This is a video of Grace Marketplace, one of the shelters open for some of the city's most vulnerable neighborhoods. The chill was felt throughout the day as temperatures barely made it into the 60s. This is WUFT News First at 5. I'm Kennedy Mason.
And I'm Charlize Ramos. Thanks for joining us. While the warm-up is not far behind, UF forecaster Derrah is already tracking the next cool down.
Temperatures right now are already dropping. We're at 60 right now here in Gainesville, and if you think that's cold, it's about to get a whole lot colder. We have clear blue skies over the Century Tower right now. Winds out of the north, which is working to add an extra bite in the air. High pressure steering those winds right now. We're going to continue to see a few more clouds stream on overnight, but otherwise we're looking at clear conditions. We're at 60 in Ocala, 60 also in Palatka, 60 in Stark, and 59 in Lake City. Now over the next couple of hours, we will be dropping into the 40s by 8, 9, 10 o'clock. So you'll definitely need a jacket for any outdoor dinner plans. And overnight, we are looking at temperatures in the 30s. We'll talk about what temperature it's going to be when you're waking up as you head out the door tomorrow, coming up.
Cold weather shelters are open in Gainesville and Citrus County tonight. Families can head to St. Francis House and Grace Marketplace, which primarily serves individuals. And neighbors in Citrus County can head to the Nature Coast Church in Homosassa to escape the cold. There they can get a hot meal, a shower, and a warm sleeping area. And if you don't have a way to get there, Citrus County Transit is providing free transportation.
Recent months have seen a number of local restaurants closed. Several restaurants in the Gainesville area are feeling the effects, including one of Gainesville's staple restaurants. WUFT's Bianca Smith joins us now live from La Fiesta, a place that's been in the area 3 decades and will soon cease to exist.
3 staple Gainesville restaurants like Swamp Boil, Halo Donuts, and Vibes Juice Bars have shut their doors. Now, one of Gainesville's first Mexican restaurants, La Fiesta, is following suit. I spoke with the owner and customers about what's going on. Although there are a few empty tables during La Fiesta's lunch rush, co-founder Lupe Castro still says it has no choice but to close its doors.
We owe it all to our customers. They've been coming here forever. Like I said, we've seen a lot of little babies grow up here.
The rising prices of food and stricter budgets are the reason La Fiesta isn't bringing in enough revenue to sustain its menu.
Well, we shut it down because business is not the same as before. It's just everything is going down. The prices of meat are going up. The prices of groceries are going up. And, you know, it's hitting you right and left.
A reason that people love La Fiesta is because of the affordability of the food. A burrito ranges anywhere from $10 to $12, and a beer on happy hour is only $1.25. After 30 years, it has become a staple restaurant here in Gainesville. One customer says when he asked the server what was going on, she had tears in her eyes and that he's worried.
I feel bad for them because, the server that we were talking to a couple minutes ago has been here for a long time. So, yeah, it affects livelihoods.
This is the 4th staple restaurant in the past 2 weeks to announce its closing.
It gives us one less place to go and hang out, And we have a core group of people that like to go out to eat lunch, or my wife and I out to dinner, and it's just one less choices. And I try and support local businesses as much as I can.
On the 16th, La Fiesta, Gainesville's first ever Mexican restaurant, will officially be closing its doors. The Chamber of Commerce reports that only one of these restaurants shut down due to inflation. La Fiesta wants to thank their patrons and customers for great memories and times over the last 30 years. Reporting live in Gainesville, Bianca Smith, WUFT News.
After months of delays, tenants at the Euphoria apartment complex finally got access to their units. But since the move-in nearly 2 months ago, they are dealing with a number of new problems, like car break-ins, and they are considering taking legal action after being restricted to their leases.
We've had homeless people sleeping in the building. We've had feces in the doorways. We've had trash piled up.
Those are just a few of the issues Cindy Hamilton says her daughters experience after moving into the Euphoria complex, and why there is a class action lawsuit in the works.
I think it's not that it was delayed. I think people understand when those kind of things happen. It was that they were trailing the tenants on and not allowing them to get out of their leases.
Hamilton's daughters decided to sign at Euphoria because of its convenience, but now she says they are regretting that decision.
I would just say, I would caution you, there are other apartment buildings that are close to campus. They have not cornered the market on location. So I would consider not signing a lease with them because they turn the lease, even the future leases around. They've put things in there that you aren't able to do a class action suit in the future.
Back in August, UF's legal team told WUFT they had seen a 150% increase in the average number of intakes submitted by students. We are waiting to hear back from the legal team to see where that number stands now. Safety issues continue to mount for the new complex that touts themselves as a luxury for UF students.
The gate for the parking garage has been broken since we moved in.
On top of that, Hamilton says elevators aren't working, there isn't enough area to keep packages secure, and cars are being broke into. Terrah Real Estate, owned by Michael Augustine, developed Euphoria Apartments. We confirm Augustine is on the UF Real Estate Advisory Board. Another parent who emailed our newsroom is calling on the university to terminate him. Terrah was not able to get back to us with a response in time for the show.
A Dixie County deputy is in custody and charged with purchasing drug paraphernalia. Deputies in Alachua County arrested James Jacobson Tuesday. Florida Department of Law Enforcement began its investigation 2 months ago after receiving allegations of meth purchases from 2 known drug dealers. He now faces charges including the purchase of controlled substance, conspiracy to purchase, and an unlawful use of a two-way communications device and more. He's being held at the Alachua County Jail.
Governor Ron DeSantis pitched his budget for the 2024 to 2025 fiscal year earlier this week.
He wants to tackle a number of issues for Floridians in the next legislative session. WUFT's Bailey Korinek went through the budget and is now live in the newsroom with the highlights of the governor's focus on Florida's future.
The new budget totals $114.4 billion, which is $4.6 billion less than the current budget. Some of the highlights include teacher salary increases, disaster recovery, and Everglades restoration projects.
Here in Florida, we're doing it right. Our credit rating is AAA. We have a higher credit rating than the U.S. government does, and that's something that we're proud of.
Governor Ron DeSantis unveiled Florida's 2024 to 2025 fiscal year budget to a South Florida crowd Tuesday. Among the key proposals, a $109 million replenishment to the My Safe Florida Home program, which helps residents make improvements to reduce insurance premiums, and a $125 billion increase in teacher pay.
So even though we're cutting taxes, even though we're able to reduce overall spending and pay down debt, we are still able to do a historic $27.8 billion in funding for the K through 12 public school system. That's the highest amount of funding ever.
The National Education Association ranks Florida nearly at the bottom of average teacher pay, sitting at number 48. DeSantis also emphasized the importance of keeping Florida students safe, especially the state's Jewish students facing rising anti-Semitism.
But we're also going to continue to provide resources for Jewish day schools, which unfortunately in this day and age can be targeted, and we've done a lot to make sure that doesn't happen in Florida. But you see what's going around in the country right now. It's really, really sad to see some of the outpouring of hate regarding our Jewish community.
And he didn't shy away from voicing his college football playoff opinions either.
Now, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that we had one of our schools, Florida State, go undefeated this year and win the conference championship. and they earned a spot in the college football playoffs.
The budget sets aside $1 million for litigation expenses if FSU wanted to take legal action against the playoff committee for cutting their chances at winning a championship. DeSantis highlighted Florida's many achievements from the past year, including being the #1 fastest growing state in the nation for the first time since the 1950s. The budget will go into effect July 1st. DeSantis will appear in the GOP debate tonight in Alabama alongside Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Chris Christie. DeSantis and Haley are competing to emerge as the alternative to former President Trump for the nomination. Live in the newsroom, Bailey Korinek, WUFT News.
We're following breaking news at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, where several people, including the shooter, are dead after a mass shooting. Las Vegas police say the shooting started in the Student Union building. This is live aerials of the scene. NBC News is reporting several victims are dead, but it's too soon to know how many. UNLV leaders are asking students to shelter in place while police make sure the area is safe.
Florida Highway Patrol is investigating a semi-tractor rollover on I-75 this morning. Marion County Fire Rescue received a call around 11:30 about a tractor containing hazardous materials rolling over. Authorities reported no crime committed but called the hazmat team to handle the hazardous chemicals. Traffic was reduced to one lane. One person suffered minor injuries.
Mayor Ben Marciano was sworn in at the Ocala City Council meeting last night. Improving the physical and mental health of the county is one of his main goals for his term. Today marks his first day in office. He was able to go into his office for the first time, meet with the former mayor, and sign his first proclamation. Marciano is looking to hit the ground running over the next couple of days. He says that the city is rated one of the worst in Florida for overall health, and he wants to improve that.
Over my 2 years in office, I would really love to be able to move the needle and be known as one of the healthier communities in the state of Florida.
A ribbon cutting ceremony today will celebrate the start of his new term. Kristen Dyer and Ira Buffet Sr. were also sworn in as council members at the Ocala City Council meeting. The city of Ocala is gifting drivers with free parking downtown this holiday season. That means free parking in all metered spaces now through New Year's. Parking meter rates of 50 cents per hour will not be in effect during this time. The time limit of 3 hours per space will still be enforced. Normal parking operations downtown will resume Tuesday, January 2nd. Coming up on WUFT News First at 5, Congress is addressing the rise in anti-Semitic acts on college campuses.
Also after the break, how leaders plan to better protect Jewish communities like the one here at UF from hate-filled acts. Stay tuned.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
The Israel-Hamas war has not only divided nations overseas, but college and university students all over the country. WUFT's Jared Teitel is live in the studio to tell us what 3 university leaders had to say during Tuesday's House hearing.
Yes, Charlize, the presidents of Harvard University, MIT, and University of Pennsylvania were questioned by lawmakers about anti-Semitism on their campuses. Since the outbreak of the Israel-Hamas war October 7th, the Department of Education is launching an unprecedented investigation into numerous schools. Tuesday, the House Committee on Education and the Workforce addressed the alleged failure of 3 universities to discipline reported anti-Semitic acts. The testimony of Claudine Gay, Sally Kornbluth, and Liz McGill come after an uprise of anti-Semitism across U.S. colleges and universities, according to the Anti-Defamation League. Just last week, a man was arrested after vandalizing the UF Chabad Jewish Center with hateful messages. Another charged with 2 misdemeanors after vandalizing an Israeli flag at the Alpha Epsilon Pi in late October. The 3 university presidents condemned anti-Semitic attacks while defending their administration's free speech policies.
Harvard must model what it means to preserve free expression while combating prejudice and preserving the security of our community.
Committee Chairwoman Virginia Fox accused the university leaders of, quote, fostering a culture of anti-Semitism. In addition to Harvard, MIT, and University of Pennsylvania, 5 other colleges and 4 K-12 districts are also under investigation. The Department of Education intends to propose methods to combat hate incidents at the end of the investigations. Reporting live in the studio, Jared Teitel, WUFT News.
Alachua County Public Schools is hosting a Holiday Food Drive 2023 for needy students and families. This year's food drive is accepting donations until December 15th. Residents can either drop off their donations at 3 drop-off locations or donate online. Possible donations include monetary donations for bulk food purchases, non-perishable food items, and gift cards. Last year's drive gifted over 900 Alachua County families.
The Hawthorne Hornets football team is gearing up for a state championship tomorrow night, and they got a special send-off from their school today. The student body gathered in the Hawthorne gym for a pep rally. The crowd was chanting, and the middle school kids got the chance to play alongside high school team. The students got out of class for about 30 minutes to have some fun before the undefeated Hornets head off to Tallahassee.
Fans have been awesome all year. You know, if they can't make the game, I'm pretty sure they'll be somewhere watching. Most of them will travel up, but right, just thank you all year, right? It didn't matter whether it was rain, whether it was hot and sunny. If we were playing in St. Pete or a home game, our fans are dedicated. They've always showed up and supported us. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
The Hornets will head up to Tallahassee tomorrow morning around 11. Kickoff for the 1R state championship is set for 8 p.m. Derrah.
Temperatures area-wide are running about 10 degrees below average. We'll talk about how long these colder temperatures are going to last and the increasing rain chances as we head into the weekend coming up.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Beautiful sunset over in Sumter County right now. Temperatures in the low 60s. We're looking at 59 in Palatka, 60 in Ocala, 58 in Stark, and 60 here in Gainesville. Now it's breezy out the door. We have those wind speeds running anywhere from 6 to 15 miles per hour out of the north, which is adding an extra bite in the air. It's definitely feeling a lot chillier with those northerly winds. High pressure steering the winds and a couple of clouds on shore, but otherwise we're looking at mostly clear skies this evening. Those northerly winds will continue overnight, and so will those clear skies, which is good news for the launch tonight. It's the 90th launch of the year for Falcon 9. Launch time is at 11:01 p.m. but if you're standing outside to watch the launch, you'll definitely need that jacket because temperatures are going to be in the 30s. Thanks to those clear skies, that's going to allow for those temperatures to really plummet. We're at 35 for the overnight low here in Gainesville, and with those inland spots reaching temperatures near the freezing point, that's going to allow for some frost to develop. There's a frost advisory for Marion County on north and for the Nature Coast that expires 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So puffy jacket tomorrow at the bus stop, and we won't be making it out the 60s again. Only 65 for the daytime high tomorrow, so you'll need the layers underneath. As high pressure continues to move in overhead, that's going to start the warming trend, and then as it continues to move over the Atlantic, that's going to allow for that moisture to build back in the forecast. So between the 2 days, Saturday's your better outdoor day for this weekend, with the highest rain chances being on Sunday. Temperatures rebound back to near 80 degrees this weekend, and then we'll continue seeing those temperatures drop after that cold front moves through on Sunday. 70% chance of rain, and then we're back into the upper 50s and low to mid 60s next week.
Gator men's basketball continued their winning ways in the O-Dome last night. We'll show you how it went down and more after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Breaking news, Florida linebacker Princely Umanmielen announced on social media today that he will be leaving Florida and entering the transfer portal. This season, he was named to the AP All-SEC second team after leading the Gators in sacks with 7. Welcome into sports. I'm Jamie Goldman. Although Umanmielen is entering the transfer portal, Gators quarterback Graham Mertz announced he is returning to Florida for another year. Mertz celebrated his 23rd birthday by discussing his reasons for coming back.
I think in the end, being able to come back and be with this team for another year, I care about this place so much. And them taking the step and taking the choice and getting me here it was everything for me. And I feel like I owe this place everything I got.
Mertz started 11 games for Florida in 2023, throwing for 2,903 yards to go along with 20 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Gators men's basketball is now 4-0 at home on the season after a convincing 20-point win against Merrimack College last night. After falling behind by 3 in the second half, the Gators responded with a 20-0 run and never looked back. Walter Clayton Jr. led the way for Florida with 26 points in the win. Freshman Alex Condon also recorded his first career double-double with 12 points and 16 rebounds. The Gators will look to stay hot as they travel to face Richmond on Saturday. In high school football, the Hawthorne Hornets are headed to their 4th consecutive state championship. The Hornets cruised to victory in their semifinal game against Blountstown, winning 49-0. Now they'll head to Tallahassee for the state championship against Madison County tomorrow night. Hawthorne fell to Madison County in the state championship in 2022, so head coach Cornelius Ingram is not taking them lightly.
Guys are flying off the football. There's great athletes in the secondary. There's a dual threat quarterback. 4 or 5 guys you can hand the ball off to run the football. They have some big, nasty old linemen up front, and that's the Madison County way.
The Hornets have the chance to complete the perfect season and become back-to-back state champions tomorrow night. WUFT News is heading to Tallahassee to cover the North Central Florida teams in the state finals. We will have interviews with coaches and players for Hawthorne, Trinity Catholic, and Bradford, as well as a full recap of the games. Our live coverage begins tomorrow from Tallahassee. One final note before we go. After a few days off, the Orlando Magic are traveling to Cleveland for a matchup with the Cavaliers tonight.
It's so great to hear the Orlando Magic is doing great. As an Orlando native myself.
As a Miami girl, I'm kind of a Heat fan. Speaking of heat, Derrah, can we get one last look at the weather?
Well, no heat. There's a frost advisory in effect tonight, so any sensitive vegetation you'll want to either cover or take indoors. Temperatures will rebound into the upper 70s over the weekend, increasing rain chances as we head into Sunday, and then we're back into the low 60s and mid 60s next week.
Thanks, Derrah. BBC World News is next, and the PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7.
But your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org. Have a good night.